Greetings, lovely people, and welcome to Fast Track Thoughts. And of course, we're talking about the final episode of Hawkeye, episode 6. So this is Christmas. Spoilers ahead for that episode, as well as the entire series, though I'm not going to be reviewing the entire series in this. But yeah, let's roll that intro and get into it. So I'm going to start off this thoughts video straight up by saying I'm slightly disappointed in this episode, mostly due to the fact of how they treated Kingpin, especially after they've kind of been setting up as the big bad all series long, and yeah, I felt like he was a bit underutilized, but at the same time, I just kind of think that this entire episode felt a bit rushed. I'm not going to get into as much detail as I usually do these episodes, just purely because, I'll be honest, this episode was kind of like episode, was it 4? Yeah, episode 4 for me, where I don't have that much to say about it, unfortunately, and that's a real shame, because if I'm going to talk about the entire season, I've got to say, I enjoyed it. I think it was a really good season of television, especially Marvel television, but I don't know, I left the episode feeling a bit empty, like a bit unfulfilled, and looking online, that seems to be in large part what other people are thinking. Full transparency, this is actually being recorded about a week and a half, and obviously you'll see that based on the time this uploads. After that episode, I did watch it at the time. I just didn't have anything to say. Also, I was on Christmas break. You've got to allow me to just have 2 weeks off. But yeah, this episode was interesting, and I didn't actually make notes for a change because I wasn't expecting to make a thoughts video immediately. I was actually expecting to rewatch the episode, but yeah, it's the finale of the series. It's pretty much what you expect. We see, both Clint and Kate come together with their new costumes, and we have the new Avengers, quote unquote, of having the first responders, the LARPers, all team up and fight off the tracksuit mafia and everything. It's all very fun. We see Kazi fight Echo, which is just another thing where I'm just like, I feel like this episode was rushed because Kazi clearly had more to his character than he's ever shown on screen. And a lot of it seems to be, a lot of his dialogue specifically seems to have been recorded after the fact, which says a lot. And it's the same thing that basically happened for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, unfortunately. There seems to be some minor issues with certain aspects of Marvel television right now, or I guess Marvel Studios productions for Disney+. And we have we have two actually really nice scenes with Yelena, one of which is between her and Kate, where they're kind of fighting through an office, Kate's trying to stop her from killing Clint, and obviously Yelena's trying to find Clint. It's fun. It's really fun. I love Yelena. There's a reason that I've been so hyped for Yelena this entire season. I love the character. She's the highlight of the Black Widow movie, in my opinion, and she's a highlight of this series as well. It's kind of remarkable how much I love Yelena in this, and I shouldn't be surprised. I thought she was amazing in Black Widow, and I think she has a bright future as the Black Widow of the next probably 5+ years of Marvel. I'm just I love that character. Her fight with Clint towards the end of the episode is remarkable. It's so heartfelt. There's a lot of discussion about Natasha, which is always interesting. Though I do think that, a show called Hawkeye spent a surprisingly long amount of time focused on Black Widow. And I don't necessarily think that was the right way to go about it, but I'm not complaining. Having them talk about, what Natasha meant to them, it's really touching, and, it sets up Yelena to be a returning character to help Kate in the future, potentially starting up the Young Avengers, or the New Avengers, whatever they end up calling it. And just generally, I'm very happy with how they treated Yelena in this series, and how they treated Natasha as well, by extension. It's been a very interesting time for Black Widow characters, and I'm kind of excited to see what else they'll do in the future with them, because Black Widow was a bit of a disappointment for most people. I liked it enough, but I've yet to rewatch it, which is weird for me when it comes to Marvel stuff. I usually rewatch them a few times over a few months after release. It's just how I like to watch Marvel stuff. I enjoy rewatching them. And yeah, it's one of those interesting things where I feel like it's going to be the same case with Hawkeye. I've watched a few of the episodes multiple times just because I enjoyed those specific episodes, but I don't think this is going to be a series like I did with Loki and WandaVision for that matter, where I'm going to watch them start to finish all over again, which is kind of sad because I said at the start of the series that Hawkeye is one of my favourite Marvel heroes. Like, no cap, no joke, I actually do legitimately really enjoy Hawkeye as a character. He is, especially in the MCU, a really fun, humanized character that you don't really see from a lot of the other main cast of Avengers. And, that's something I just really liked about him generally. Jeremy Renner is obviously amazing. And Seinfeld, or whatever her name is, Haley Seinfeld, I can never remember, Kate's actress, is phenomenal in this. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. We obviously see the fight between Kate and Kingpin, and Kingpin's been buffed since Daredevil, that's safe to say. He's ridiculously powerful. He shrugs off getting hit by a car. He survives getting blown up by like 17 different explosive arrows. He's a powerhouse, and he throws Kate around like she's nothing. It's remarkable, honestly. And now, I guess, there's not really much else for me to say, because, as I left this episode feeling a bit empty, and I think the biggest thing for most people is that ending. So obviously, it's all happy ending for Kate and Clint. For the most part, Kate's mother is arrested. Kate does it, to be fair. It's not like Kate does it, has it thrown upon her that her mother's being arrested. Kate calls the police. It's fair enough, but yeah, otherwise happy ending. They all go and celebrate Christmas together at Clint's ranch. And, it's all a nice ending. But then we have the Kingpin ending. So obviously Kingpin, is super strong. He can just shrug off all those explosions. And he stumbles upon Echo, who then proceeds to shoot him in the face. And in the comics, for those who don't know, in a Daredevil run, Echo does this exact same thing, and all that happens is that Kingpin is revealed to have just been blinded. He eventually gets cosmetic surgery or some other sort of reconstructive surgery to get his eyesight back. But yeah, he gets shot in Hawkeye, and for them to have only just brought him back and then immediately just be like, okay, we're going to kill him off, potentially, maybe, depends on how the fans react. It's kind of a kick to the face, in my opinion. I really don't like the decision, and personally, I hope that they do actually go with the comic storyline, and in Echo, the solo series that is coming up, they have announced it. I hope that Kingpin is the main antagonist, and that would be a really cool idea of having Kingpin be blind when Echo is deaf. That would be a really nice, yin-yang sort of situation that I think would really work well. And then they could also introduce, they could bring Daredevil into that series as just this, third pillar of just, I don't know, it'd be interesting. I would like that. And honestly, I'm hoping that this isn't the last we've seen of Kingpin, regardless, whether they go with that plot line or not. It's just a bit of a sour note, because I was very excited for Vincent D'Onofrio, and he does an amazing job. The characterization is phenomenal. It's slightly different from the Netflix show, but I don't really have an issue with that. I, can still enjoy all stuff that happened on Daredevil without it having to be directly referenced in, the new Marvel stuff. It's just, it's just a bit of a sickener. It's a bit of a sad note to end on, in my opinion, when I was so hyped for the Kingpin's return. But hopefully it isn't his last appearance. But at the end of the day, I've got to give this episode a rating, and that rating, unfortunately, because I've really liked this series. The series is probably, I haven't written my review yet, but it's probably towards an 8 out of 10 for the entire series, for the entire season. But the final episode, it's just a bit weak. It's like a 5, and that's being very generous, because it's a lot of flashing lights and cool effects, and we see all the different arrows and everything, but I don't know. It just left me a bit empty, and it was a bit disappointing, quite honestly. Especially, Loki hit the ball at the park. WandaVision was phenomenal. I even liked, for the most part, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think there are issues with that, but Hawkeye and Winter Soldier was perfectly good, and I think this is perfectly good. I just don't think it quite stuck the landing, which arguably could be said about Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, yeah, I think on that note, there's going to be it for this thoughts video. As I say, I'm going to get an actual review out of the entire season as a whole, probably sometime in New Year, probably towards the end of January. I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on right now. I recently saw 3 films, which I'm not going to mention in this just because, timelines are all over the place, but I am going to be doing 3 actual film reviews in the coming weeks, and then there's this, Doctor Who, and now Book of Boba Fett is coming out very soon that I'm going to be working on, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but I hope you're excited for that. If you are, make sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell, all that YouTube nonsense. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
It's been a long week. I feel like I could use a vacation.